talk this through. So the very first thing is that on Wednesday we were supposed to have this type of formal staff meeting in the morning, but then of course I was not feeling well. So I just had a really rough night. After we finished the IPLI class, that was great, and we're gonna summarize that and where our next steps are, and we're super excited about that. But then that it just just the weekends and everything else that happened that last week was just a lot. So a week ago, Wednesday a week ago, we got called into the principals all got called into the meeting at admin, and it was Monday when we were off. This was Easter Monday. And we get this email like at 3 o'clock, 2:30 in the afternoon to all the principals saying, hey, clear your schedules Wednesday, you must be at this meeting. We didn't have any idea. We didn't even have any idea what the meeting was. And they said, just make sure that you're at the admin building. And Mr. Miller said, if you cannot be there, he's like, you need to clear your schedule. He's like, if you cannot be there, you need to text me now. And it was like, okay, so there's just like no option of not being there. Mm-hmm. So we walk in and we're like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? So we thought, of course, well, they're going to finally tell us, right? Like what schools are closing. Well, they give us information that all the RIFs are going to start immediately, and if you and people are going to start being let go, and we're like, what? Wait, like hold on, time out, and we're all just sitting there, like this look, like wait, what is happening? So. Mr. Miller goes through the plan that he's going through what has to happen. And so different departments, right? And as you know now, these are the departments that have been spoken to as we've been hearing, but different departments were being called in for meetings, and letters were going to be starting to be given to people. So for example, our custodial crew, okay, so the team that had to be spoken to, okay, and then we had our recess aides that were coming up and that they were going to be talked to and spoken to. And then there's still different people in different times, clerical, right, as came through, all right. And then special ed is still going to be LDP, teachers, okay. So like all of these different, everything is still happening, and everything is still happening up until the end of the school year. Cafeteria, everybody, right? Because it's going to affect everyone. That's basically what the message was. And so we felt back in November he had told us that we were just going to finish all out the year, that we were going to be okay, but he couldn't keep that word, obviously, and he said that due to the way that the plan came out, the proposals that they gave, I guess they had like 6 proposals. They went to Indy and presented them, and this is what they DUOP said, hey, you guys have to do this like now. And they were trying to not do that, but unfortunately they said they could not. Like it has to happen now, or else we'll just never recover. So if there isn't any money, there isn't any money, and he said, and this is the position we're in. So unfortunately, he said the place that we're going to have to cut is going to be people, because those are our most expensive expenses in a district. So he said, he told us as principals, so now you know the news, you have to go back and figure it out and figure out how to finish your school year. And we're like, oh, okay, so we're all shocked, and we're all like sitting there, and I'm just like, okay, wait, what's happening? And then I turn to Stephanie for medicine. I go, Stephanie, wait, what's happening? Like, pinch me. Am I in a nightmare? And she's like, no, like this is like really happening. So we had to come back and say at that point, okay, we're not gonna have, we're gonna be down to 1 clerical. You're not gonna have 2, and it's gonna go based on seniority. So as you know, Debbie's staying with us until the end of the school year. She's gonna be in charge of everything now, payroll, registration. So our Spanish-speaking families, I'll be here, of course, and anybody else that can help us, of course, thank you in advance, because we're just going to have to step up, because that's going to be now our role, okay? So for next year, we're going to still continue trying to help our families that way, but Rosa was our person, okay? So she's now at Franklin, and she's going to finish off the year there, okay? And we'll see what happens between now and then. The big question is still, is Franklin going to close or not? We keep hearing rumors that it is, and then some people are like, no, it's not. But again, wherever she comes, hopefully she's back, here at Lincoln. Hopefully we're here. I haven't heard that we're not, But again, everything seems to just be changing daily, and I just don't know. So I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that, you know, we're not going to be close, okay? Because I just don't know, you know, and it changes. So she'll finish there. Debbie will be here, so we're not super comfortable. I mean, I know a little bit of registration when we went to training, but we'll do the best we can. Our parents are very concerned. Every morning they're asking me, you know, are you here next year? And I'm like, again, I can't answer that question. I said, I hope to be. I've requested to be. I've asked, you know, please consider keeping me here for next year. But again, it's not official, and it won't be official. And I don't know when they'll tell me. But they're making decisions right now. I do have a lot of parents that have submitted their applications to St. Cass, St. John the Baptist. There's waiting lists already there. Cast, their kids are going there. Highland, open enrollment. So our population is going to look different next year. Okay, it is. Our kids are going. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that they're not. They are. And if one family takes one, they're taking all. Okay, which again, they're not going to keep one here and take, you know, two or whatever. They're taking them all. And some of them are moving. You know, they're like, we're going to move. Sharonville, you know, it's such a school corporation from Point. We're going to make the move now because they just said, you know, we're not going to we're not going to stay here to figure out, you know, uncertainty when my child needs an education. That's from the parent. And I do not blame them. Everybody has to do what you have to do. So our kids are moving. Okay, so that. The one thing that they did tell us that Mr. Miller did say he did tell us 3 buildings, and he did speak to those 3 principals that day. He did say he spoke to Morin Elementary, so he spoke to Ellen, he spoke to Melinda Wallace, and he spoke to Kenwood. Yeah, okay, so Mary. He did speak to Regina. They did speak to Regina at the end when her and Miss Reese, but and she did leave crying, but she didn't tell us anything or whatever. She just left. So I know in the Chicago Tribune it said 4 schools. I don't know if you saw the article, but it said that there were 4 elementary schools. So Morton Elementary is going to become the preschool. He did say that, the preschool building, and where all the preschool will be. He wants to include our program as well. So our preschool room would become a classroom for next year. Okay. However, I don't know if that's going to happen. But that's the proposal. Morton Elementary will become the preschool hub. Okay, for the school city of Hammond. All right, and then Wallace and Kenwood, they'll just redistrict the children. He said that the Hammond children, obviously that those schools have a lot of people from out of state, and that those are not that they're not priority because they're numbers, but the Hammond kids are first because they have to be redistricted first. You know, they have to go somewhere to a school compared to people from Illinois or from other places, which is true. I mean, you should take care of your own, you know, neighborhoods first. So the same thing with any of the other schools. Now remember, keep in mind, us and Franklin are the oldest schools, right? Oldest buildings. So just keep that in mind too, because I don't know how much longer Lincoln would be able to sustain, you know, keeping kids, okay, and in their plan. So what we're gonna have to do then is, he said, and Steve, you could pop in on this one here too, but he basically said, come back and come up with a plan. And at that point, if you remember a week ago, you know, our recess crew was being going to be spoken to. So they said, well, you're going to have to cover recess. So, you know, figure it out. He said a suggestion is, you know, cover recess, find people in the building, you know, consider asking your teachers to go out with them and be with the kids, you know, for the recess time. So that's where we were. But then the other day when they went on Wednesday to the meeting. Then we didn't know any of this. The principals did not know. But then we get a text that they offered a 3-hour shift for 2 recess aides. Okay, so if they were interested, they could put yes, and Mrs. Janik and Mrs. Ramos put yes that they're interested. So if it goes and we're okay, we can keep and it will start the 29th of April. Okay, the 29th of April, and it would be effective that they would be with us for 3 hours of the day.
Yeah, and that's just going to be kind of figuring it out. I'm sure a lot of people are talking, and some other schools have already said, like, teachers are covering recess, we're looking to try to avoid that, or at least keep it very, very minimal. I'm hoping avoid it. With the 3-hour shifts, so our lunch and recess block goes just over 3 hours. I think it'd be kind of crazy to try to restructure that for 6 weeks of school, throw the kids off, throw our schedules off. So, Jackie and I have already talked about we could try to cover those ends and figure out what's going on. So as a plan comes out, we'll keep you guys updated. But if we get Janet and Ramos for that time, I think we can probably find a way to do it without teachers jumping in. I know there's other schools in the district that aren't in that position. I just really hope they stick to that because I hope you don't mind me saying this. If so, it's me putting myself out there. It was a principal that went to Miller and was like, instead of paying teachers stipends to cover recess, why not just keep 2 recess aides on limited shifts? And then there was a lot of support, and then people were told we can't do that, and then they were told that we can do that. So, like Jackie said, it's been a very moving target. I'm hoping that's one thing that will have a really big impact on just our daily functions.
So yesterday, the building reps were talking with Lou for the union part of it because every building is different with how the principals are handling the recess situation. So like one building, the teachers voted on how they wanted to do it. Some teachers are getting a stipend. It's like they get $8 per recess and they're taking shifts on it. And no other building reps are having, like, nobody said that their recess aides took a 3-hour shift or so. So it's just very different how every building was saying it. So Lou did pop in and say, we are looking into what we can do. We're trying to come up with a plan. So the union doesn't know what admin is doing, and they're trying to keep up with what's going on. So like Jackie and Steve are trying to avoid us covering, and if, we just have to wait and see, so.
And I stand up here, we both do. I mean, as soon as I came back from that meeting, he's like, oh, you're not. And Crystal noticed too, because that day was a PD day. And I didn't say, I don't know if you guys saw, but she picked up on it right away. She's like, you weren't doing too well today. Like, you didn't say anything. I'm like, I couldn't. I was just trying to process it all. But the first thing I told him, I said, is we're not going to make this hard. I said, we're going to keep this simple. We're going to keep our schedule. We're going to do the best we can just to keep it and finish strong. I said, and whatever it takes, I said, you and I are going to, just do this. And he's like, okay. He's like, fine with me, because we can't. Like, this is just the way that I process things as a science person. It's like, okay, this is the plan. This is how we could do it. I'm flexible, where I could, switch, or we could all switch. And I said, and I just don't want something else added on. I mean, I already know how you feel, and I do not need that for you to be feeling that at the end of the school year, okay? Because at the end of the school year should be joyful. It should be like celebratory, right? It should be like, hey, we made it, and the kids should have an experience all the time, okay? So I know he's like, okay. So thank you for that, Steve, too, because you were there, and we'll get it done.
We're really trying to reduce the impact it has on other people. The one thing I would ask is, please, if we need flexibility in the building, and everyone here is very flexible, but just please continue to be so. Please give us grace. Like, we can't promise we'll always be able to handle behaviors like right away, because we're doing a lot more things than we typically are, and especially like with the island window opening. I think that's my personal gripe. It's like, couldn't we wait at least like till the second half of it? So it's just kind of crazy. And I just got a directive yesterday that I have to be like present. Oh, this is good for our teachers to know as well, so you're not freaking out. I got a new directive that my monitoring of testing now has to include about 5 minutes or more in every single testing classroom every single day. So that'll be like probably a good 2-hour chunk of my schedule for the first 2 weeks of the window. So we just gotta band together, remember what it's about, which is not easy to do, but the kids don't know that all this is going on. Even if their parents are saying stuff, they're waking up and coming to school, and that's what we need to remember, because this is their elementary school, this is their childhood, and we gotta keep on pushing and get them through.
Okay.
Get us through too, and
so I'll talk about custodians and nurse. Okay, so of course Trini said his goodbyes last week. That was also, you know, heartbreaking because, you know, again, I've only known him for 3 years, but it feels like I've known him a lifetime. And just seeing his, you know, smiling face at the lunchroom every time and just joking around, that's what made it. We made it through the lunch, right? You know, to that time. But whatever you need from us, we're here to help with you know, the building. Okay. You do have. You want to speak on that and who we have?
We have Francisco
Okay.
and Cameron. So they asked they will be next Friday. And I don't know who's going to come after that. I know it's going to be one person that's going to be coming on the 22nd.
Yes.
So I don't know.
So let's do our best just to clean up. I know you already do, so thank you, but anything, I'm always constantly like walking down the halls and telling the kids if they're dropping something, pick it up. I know that we do that already, but let's just be very, very mindful. Cafeteria as well. Our, you know, crew, they come out and help us, so thank you for that. But we just keep telling the kids, pick up after yourself, don't be messy, you know, just all of us, you know, chip in because we're just gonna need to, you know, be that at the end of the year here. Yes.
I just had a thought now. A lot of people are awesome at coming in and helping out in the morning in the cafeteria. One thing that would be a huge help is when the recess ladies have altered schedules, helping out in the gym, because right now they cover that completely. And you know, Jackie and I will be shifting too, but we need to shift the supervision to make sure that that area is covered.
Yes.
And the other option is bringing everyone into the cafeteria, and I think that would create a lot of problems. based
And
on
again,
how
I
busy
don't,
it already is.
yeah, and I don't wanna start changing. The kids already know the routine, and that's like the best thing we could do is just keep with our routine. Cause they start feeling a little bit, you know, like, hey, you're changing a lot of things, and then they start getting, you know, a little bit out of control, so. And they're already, some of them on the verge of like, you need to calm down. So yes. Nurse, so then next, we were told for next year, so Nurse Jen is out right now, but, she is trying to cover building. She's been going to Jefferson, half days, okay, so us and, but for next year we will, Lincoln, all schools, all elementary schools will have a nurse half day. Okay, it'll be shared. I don't know who will share, you know, with, if it's Franklin or Irving, but, they'll only be here half day.
So make sure any injuries that happen either in the morning.
Nothing when they're not here.
Yes, okay, they cannot get hurt at that time, okay?
Not allowed.
Because right now, to like today, we're it, you know, we're it, okay, so we're no,
Sorry,
Debbie,
I'm gonna need you
Nurse
for 30
Jen
minutes
today, so.
before you can be heard.
Okay, so that's what we have
Stay
going.
in the room.
I mean, you know, so, I mean, we'll just have to, whatever you need, let us know, okay? I know like one day, Ms. Hubbard was out and, you know, one of the little girls had her I think she got through all her bandages that day. And I'm like, what did you just do? Because, you know, there was a sub in there that wasn't paying attention, a whole other story. But,
Gave her all
but yeah, so if
Band-Aids.
you need Band-Aids or something, let us know, you know, we're just gonna try to do our best here, okay? Cafeteria, Kelly, how about on the cafeteria? Anything you wanna share?
So far, it's working out.
Okay.
We've been going out there in between doing the tables to make sure that that's all nice and done for Monica, hopefully. It's all good.
Yeah, okay, good,
Other than that, we're just, whatever we need to do.
yes, okay, alright, very good. I think that was thunder, okay, alright, Williams is out today, I'll be down there. So we have, I'll be in the cafeteria, so find me if you need me, but I'll be down there for today, and whatever, you know, we need in the office as well. Steve has accommodations to get through for iLearn, because iLearn's starting next week, as we know. Alright, any of the other departments? So to wrap this all up, everything changes. So if you hear something, don't go on social media and post things like that, because that's one of the worst things we can do. You can personally, you know, talk to others, like that's something, but don't record yourself and go on and share a video or anything like that, because that's something that we definitely cannot do. Okay, we have to stick together, stay positive, and even though however we're feeling, we just need to make sure that we show and we come together, that we're showing the camaraderie and the support of one another, and to our families as well, and of course to ourselves and to the kids.
Yeah,
Okay.
the social media thing, I don't think we've had a lot of issues here, but I know some buildings have. Be aware that first of all, like going on and attacking School City of Hammond it's gonna reflect back to Lincoln if you're a Lincoln employee. That's just the reality. And also, you know, depending on what your future holds, you don't want someone like looking up and seeing and complaining to your employer. It's a really poor look to have. It's like going into a job interview and saying you're looking for a new position because of all these bad things about where you work. Well, that's probably not the kind of person that someone's going to want to take on. So just really be aware of your public image, the school's image, like Jackie said. I think we've all been venting a lot to people in our personal lives. I won't confirm or deny if I have, but I have. But just be very aware of your public image, your social, you know, anything on social media.
Yes, okay, so just be very careful. And if you are applying, I mean, you know, if you're keeping your options open, good for you, you should. I mean, I said that back to you in November, I mean, you should have your options open. And again, decisions have to be made for your family and for yourselves on what you plan to do and how you plan to do this. And as we get closer to the end of the school year, you know, May 1st is the certified, you know, staff. So if you haven't been in a classroom, if you've been out of a classroom, and you're probably going to be asked to go back to classroom next year. You know, there'll be an opportunity for you to be back in there, but that's probably where it's gonna go. Okay, so here, School City of Hammond. Now, if you're gonna apply somewhere else, and again, you never know, but like Steve said, always remember that, because right now employers are seeking people and they are calling for references, and they do look at them. Okay. I will continue this school year as I plan to be here for next year. So moving forward, we will have the profile cards that are coming out. I will ask you where you like to be next year. So if, you know, with that intent, like, hey, I really want to teach 3rd grade next year, or, you know, I really like where I'm at. And if you are, that's fine, you know, because I think that this year was very, very, very good. I mean, we made a lot of switches over the past 2 years, but I think this year was good. I feel good about it, very good. So, we'll do that until we know if Franklin's coming to us or not, or what's going to happen. But if that does happen, as soon as we can transition, then we will transition, because that's going to be a whole new game plan, right? To allow other students to come and join us, and another, you know, school to come and join us and merge, and that's going to be a whole nother thing. So we'll have to come up with a plan. But as we move forward, though, and end the school year, that's what my goal is. So we're going to finish strong. We're going to talk about IPLI, what the next steps would be. We're going to just continue and move forward from there. Okay, so that's my intent. Okay, until they tell me otherwise, and we go from there. But we only have a little bit of a window to continue and wrap this up. And it's coming fast. Okay, so we're gonna just continue and stay together. Okay, like that. Questions? Any questions for me that you may have?
Can I just make a comment?
Yeah.
It's bugging me so much, my math brain.
Yeah.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, that they're gonna pay teachers an $8 recess stipend.
Yes.
When you're not making, the recess aides are not making that much money.
Yes.
That is so dumb.
One building is filing, their plan to file grievances if it happens, and one building agreed to do it. So it's just crazy.
I mean, if
And
it's
they
a
don't know
money
where the
issue-
number came from. They don't know who offered the stipend. They don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry, I
No.
just had to get that out.
So we went by to say, they told us that the way that they came up with being able to possibly keep 2 people on per building was the amount that they would have to pay teachers to take their own class to recess every day. And they used that to calculate how much we make, that they would be able to keep 2 people per building for 3 hours.
If in case that I keep 2 people, it's
Mhm.
gonna affect the schedule for the lunch.
We're gonna keep it as much as possible. Like Steve said, we'll help in the beginning and then.
No, but I say,
Yeah,
that
no.
they're gonna come more kids, or it's gonna be the same?
No, we would keep it. Yeah. We're gonna try to keep it as the same. Like I said, we're gonna just try to finish off the year like we have. Okay. Yeah. I hope you all like that, because we're already moving. Okay. In that direction. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. All right.
We love you all. Thank you.
Yes, right, we do, but thank you, yes, for everything. I know it's hard, it's in tough times, but again, if you hear anything and you're not sure, come to me, come to one of us, and ask us. We'll be honest as we can be, okay? So absolutely, all right? right, thank you. Thank you. Let's make this a great Friday, everyone. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Share out with others too. Yes, 3 o'clock rally for our Science Olympiad kids, okay? So yes, thank you, MJ. Thank you, Carla. Thank you.